I cried tears of joy when my wife announced her pregnancy. For 9 months I prepared the nursery, bought toys, supported her every need. Then she said she miscarried. I was devastated, until her daughter found a silicone belly package in the trash. I'm Robert, but everyone calls me Rob. I'm 37, work as a software engineer at a tech company in Portland, Oregon. This is the story of how my wife faked an entire pregnancy for 9 months, and how her own daughter helped me expose the most cruel, calculated lie I've ever experienced. Let me start from the beginning. 2 years ago, I met Amanda through a mutual friend at a coffee shop in the Pearl District. She was 35, beautiful, charming, and had this infectious laugh that made everyone around her smile. She was a single mom to Qley, who was 13 at the time. Amanda told me her ex-husband had left when Qley was just a baby, and she'd been raising her daughter alone ever since. We dated for about a year before I proposed. The relationship seemed perfect. Amanda was attentive, loving, and funny. Qley was a sweet kid, a bit quiet, but she warmed up to me over time. She loved that I could help her with math homework, and that I introduced her to video games her mom would never let her play. We bonded over Portal 2 and Inside, and she started calling me Rob with genuine affection in her voice. We got married in a small ceremony at a vineyard outside Portland. It rained, of course, this is Oregon, but it was beautiful. Amanda wore a simple white dress. Qley was her junior bridesmaid, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. I was finally getting the family I'd always wanted. The first 6 months of marriage were good. Really good. We settled into a routine. I'd work from home twice a week. Amanda had a part-time job doing administrative work for a dental office, and Qley was thriving at her high school. We'd have family dinners, movie nights, weekend hikes in Forest Park. It felt real. It felt right. Then, one evening in October, everything changed. I came home from work around 6 p.m. Portland was already dark, rain hammering against the windows of our 2-story house in the Selwood neighborhood. I could smell something cooking. Amanda was making pasta, Qley's favorite. When I walked into the kitchen, Amanda turned to me with this look on her face. Her eyes were bright, almost teary, and she was holding something behind her back. "Rob," she said, her voice shaking slightly, "I have something to tell you." My heart skipped. The way she said it, I thought something was wrong. "What is it? Are you okay?" She pulled her hand from behind her back and held up a pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. I don't remember the next few seconds clearly. I think I just stood there, staring at the test, my brain trying to process what she just said. Then it hit me like a wave. I was going to be a father. Not just a stepfather, but a real father to a child of my own. I rushed forward and wrapped her in my arms. I was crying. Actually crying. I hadn't cried in years, but tears were streaming down my face as I held her. "Are you serious? Are you sure?" "I took 3 tests," she said, laughing and crying at the same time. "I'm sure." Qley came down the stairs, drawn by the commotion. "What's going on?" Amanda looked at her daughter with so much love. "You're going to be a big sister, sweetie." Qley's face lit up. She ran over and hugged her mom, then me. We stood there in the kitchen, the 3 of us embracing, and I thought, this is it. This is what happiness feels like. That night, after Qley went to bed, Amanda and I stayed up late talking about the future. We discussed names, Elliot for a boy, Olivia for a girl. We talked about converting the guest room into a nursery. We talked about what kind of parents we wanted to be. I held her hand and promised her I'd be there for everything. Every doctor's appointment, every ultrasound, every midnight craving. I was all in. The next day, I called my parents in Seattle. My mom screamed with joy so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. My dad got choked up. I could hear it in his voice. "I'm so proud of you, son," he said. They started making plans to visit, talking about being grandparents, asking if we needed anything. At work, I told my team during our Monday stand-up. Everyone congratulated me, patting me on the back, asking when the due date was. My manager, Chen, offered me extra flexibility to work from home once the baby arrived. "Family first," he said. I felt supported, loved, excited. Over the next few weeks, I threw myself into preparation mode. I'm an engineer. I like to plan, to optimize, to make things perfect. I bought every pregnancy book I could find. What to expect when you're expecting. The Expectant Father. Bringing Up Bébé. I read them all, highlighting passages, making notes in the margins. I started a spreadsheet to track expenses. Diapers, formula, clothes, doctor visits. I wanted to be ready. I opened a savings account specifically for the baby's future. College fund, emergency expenses, whatever they might need. I was already thinking 18 years ahead. Amanda seemed happy, but also tired. She said the first trimester was rough. Morning sickness, fatigue, mood swings. I believed every word. Why wouldn't I? She'd had Qley. She knew what pregnancy was like. I trusted her completely. "I'm so exhausted, Rob," she'd say, lying on the couch in the middle of the afternoon. "Growing a human is hard work." "Just rest, babe," I'd tell her. "I've got everything covered." And I did. I took over all the household chores, cooking, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping. I'd come home from a full day of work and immediately start making dinner while Amanda watched TV. If I suggested she help with something small, she'd put her hand on her stomach and say, "I'm carrying your child, Rob. I need to be careful." I never questioned it. Not once. By November, she said she was 12 weeks along. "First trimester is almost over," she announced one morning. "I have a doctor's appointment today at 2 p.m. Want to come?" I did. God, I wanted to. But I had a critical meeting with a client that I couldn't reschedule. "I'm so sorry," I said, genuinely disappointed. "Can I come to the next one?" "Of course," she said, kissing my cheek. "There will be plenty more." She left for the appointment around 1:30 p.m. I was in my meeting, barely paying attention to the PowerPoint slides, thinking about my wife and our baby. The meeting ran long until almost 4 p.m. When I finally checked my phone, I had a text from Amanda. "Everything looks good. Baby is healthy. Doctor said everything is on track." So relieved. I called her immediately. "How did it go? What did the doctor say? Did you hear the heartbeat?" "It was amazing," she said, and I could hear the smile in her voice. "Too early for the heartbeat, but we saw the little blob on the ultrasound. I wish you could have been there." "Next time," I promised. "I won't miss the next one." But I did miss the next one, and the one after that. There was always something, a work emergency, a meeting I couldn't move, a deadline I had to meet. And Amanda never seemed upset about it. "Don't worry," she'd say. "I'll take pictures of the ultrasound for you." And she did. She'd come home with grainy black and white images that looked like every ultrasound photo I'd ever seen. A blob with a vague human shape. "That's our baby," she'd say, pointing to the screen. I'd stare at it in wonder, trying to see the features she described. "There's the head, see? And those are the little arms." I put those photos on the fridge, held in place by magnets. Every morning, I'd look at them while making coffee and think, "That's my kid. That's my child in there." By December, Amanda was showing. Just a small bump, but definitely noticeable. She started wearing maternity clothes, flowy tops, and stretchy pants. I thought she looked beautiful. Radiant, even. That pregnancy glow everyone talks about. The holidays were special that year. My parents came down from Seattle for Christmas. My mom brought bags full of baby clothes she'd bought. Tiny onesies, soft blankets, little hats. She couldn't stop talking about becoming a grandmother. My dad pulled me aside at one point and said, "You're going to be a great father, Rob. I can already see it." I believed him. I wanted to believe him. In January, Amanda said she was starting her second trimester. The bump was bigger now. She'd put her hand on her stomach constantly, talking to the baby. "Hi there, little one," she'd coo. "Daddy's going to be home soon." I started preparing the nursery. We decided on a gender-neutral theme, yellows and greens, with woodland creatures. I painted the room myself, spending an entire Saturday rolling soft butter yellow paint onto the walls. The fumes gave me a headache, but I didn't care. I was building a space for my child. I ordered furniture online. A crib from Pottery Barn Kids, a changing table from Target, a glider chair from Amazon. When the crib arrived, the box was massive. I spent 4 hours assembling it, following the instructions carefully, double-checking every screw and bolt. I wanted it to be perfect, safe, sturdy. When I finished, I sat in the glider chair and looked around the room. The crib was ready. The walls were painted. Stuffed animals sat on shelves. A mobile with little forest creatures hung above where our baby would sleep. I imagined holding a tiny infant, rocking them to sleep in this chair, singing lullabies in the dark. I started crying again. Happy tears. Grateful tears. I couldn't believe this was my life. Amanda came into the room and saw me. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," I said, wiping my eyes. I'm so happy. Thank you for this. Thank you for giving me this family." She came over and hugged me, her belly pressing against me. "You're going to be an amazing father," she said. I believed her. February and March passed in a blur. Amanda's belly kept growing. By now, it was obvious she was pregnant. Strangers would smile at her in grocery stores. Older women would stop her to ask when she was due. "June," she'd tell them. "Early June." She stopped working at the dental office. "It's too much," she said. "I'm too tired and my feet are swelling. The doctor said I should rest." I didn't question it. Of course she should rest. She was growing a human being. I took on more hours at work to make up for the lost income. I was already the primary breadwinner, but now I was the only breadwinner. It was fine. I could handle it. But looking back, I see now how much she was using the pregnancy to manipulate me. "Rob, can you make dinner? I'm pregnant and exhausted." "Rob, can you clean the bathroom? I can't handle the smell of cleaning products." "Rob, can you do the grocery shopping? My feet hurt too much to walk around the store." Every request ended with a reminder of her condition. Every ask came with an excuse tied to the baby. And I did it all, happily, because I thought I was taking care of my pregnant wife and our unborn child. Qley started to seem distant around this time. She was 15 now, and I figured it was typical teenage stuff. She spent more time in her room, less time with us. When I asked if everything was okay, she'd just shrug. "I'm fine." But she wasn't fine. I just didn't know it yet. In April, Amanda said she felt the baby kicking. "Feel this," she'd say, grabbing my hand and placing it on her belly. I'd wait, hopeful, but I never felt anything. "You just missed it," she'd say. The baby moved away. I was disappointed but understanding. "I'll feel it eventually," I said. I never did. By May, Amanda was huge, or at least she looked huge. Her belly was round and prominent. She walked with that distinctive pregnant waddle. She'd complain about back pain, about not being able to tie her shoes, about how the baby was pressing on her bladder so she had to pee constantly. I bought her a pregnancy pillow, one of those massive U-shaped things. I'd help her get comfortable at night, arranging pillows around her body. She'd sigh with relief. "Thank you, babe. You're so good to me." The due date was approaching. Early June. I made sure I had time off work approved. 2 weeks of paternity leave, with the option to extend if needed. I wanted to be there for everything. The birth, the first days at home, all of it. I packed a hospital bag, clothes for Amanda, clothes for the baby, toiletries, snacks, phone chargers, everything the checklist said we'd need. It sat by the front door, ready to grab at a moment's notice. And then, nothing happened. June 5th came and went. No labor. No baby. "First babies are often late," Amanda said. "Doctor said it's normal." June 10th. Still nothing. June 15th. I was getting anxious. Should we call the doctor, make sure everything's okay? "I talked to them yesterday," Amanda said. "They said to wait a bit longer. Some pregnancies go to 42 weeks. I didn't know enough about pregnancy to question it. I trusted her. I trusted the medical system she claimed to be in contact with. June 20th. I was at work when I got a frantic call from Amanda. "Rob," she said, and her voice was wrong, shaky, scared. "Something's wrong. I'm cramping. There's blood." My heart dropped into my stomach. "I'm coming home right now. Should I call 911? "No, I don't know. Just come home." I left work immediately, not even bothering to shut down my computer or tell anyone where I was going. I drove faster than I should have, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. Please be okay, I thought. Please, please be okay. When I got home, Amanda was on the couch, curled up, holding her stomach. She looked pale. It hurts, she said. We need to go to the hospital, I said. Right now. No, she said, shaking her head. I think it's too late. Too late for what? Amanda, what's happening? She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. I think I'm losing the baby. The words hit me like a physical blow. I couldn't breathe. No, that can't. We need to go to the hospital. They can do something. They can save the baby. Rob, she said, her voice breaking. It's too late. I can feel it. The baby's gone. I knelt beside her, grabbing her hand. Please, let me take you to the hospital. Please. She shook her head. What's the point? It's over. I spent that entire night holding my wife while she cried. Or at least while she pretended to cry. I cried 2 real, agonizing sobs. I grieved for the child I thought I'd lost. The baby I'd prepared for, dreamed about, loved before I ever met them. Elliot or Olivia. We'd never get to meet them now. Amanda stayed in bed for the next 3 days. I took time off work to be with her. I brought her food, held her when she cried, told her it wasn't her fault. These things happen, I said, repeating what I'd read online. It's not your fault, babe. It's nobody's fault. But inside, I was shattered. I'd go into the nursery and stare at the empty crib. All that preparation, all that hope, all that love, for nothing. The yellow walls seemed to mock me. The stuffed animals stared with their blank button eyes. I called my parents to tell them. My mom broke down crying on the phone. My dad didn't say much, but I could hear the weight in his silence. They offered to come down, but I told them we needed space to grieve. At work, I sent a brief email to my team. Personal family emergency. We'll be out for a week. Chen called me directly. Whatever you need, take all the time you need. I didn't tell him what happened. I couldn't say the words out loud. The thing that haunted me most was that Amanda refused to go to the hospital. Not that night, not the next day, not ever. What's the point, she'd say. There's nothing they can do now. I just want to move on. I should have insisted. I should have demanded we go, if only for her health. But I was so deep in grief that I couldn't think straight. I just wanted to support my wife however she needed. Qley was quiet during all of this. She'd peek into our bedroom sometimes, looking at her mom with an expression I couldn't quite read. When I asked if she was okay, she'd just nod and leave. I thought she was dealing with the loss in her own way. Teenagers aren't always good at expressing emotions, right? I was wrong about that too. 2 weeks after the miscarriage, life started returning to some semblance of normal. Amanda got out of bed, started moving around the house again. But something was off. She didn't seem as devastated as I still felt. She wasn't crying anymore. When I brought up maybe seeing a therapist to help us process the loss, she dismissed it. I'm fine, Rob. I just want to move forward. But I wasn't fine. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and just stare at the ceiling, thinking about everything we'd lost. I couldn't go into the nursery without feeling like someone had punched a hole through my chest. Then, 3 weeks after the miscarriage, Qley knocked on my home office door. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Amanda was out grocery shopping. I was trying to focus on work, but mostly just going through the motions. Qley stood in the doorway, and when I looked up at her, I saw something in her face that made my stomach twist. Dad, she said. She'd started calling me that about a year into the marriage. I found something. You need to see this. The way she said it, quiet, serious, almost scared. I knew it was important. What is it? I asked, turning away from my computer. She came into the room and closed the door behind her. She was holding something, a crumpled cardboard box. She set it on my desk, and I looked at it. It was an Amazon package. The label was torn, but I could make out enough of it. The product name was partially visible. Silicone Pregnancy Belly. I stared at it. My brain wasn't processing what I was seeing. I found this in the trash, Qley said. Her voice was shaking. Last week. I almost threw it away, but then I looked at what it was and Dad, I think Mom was lying. What? The word came out flat. I still wasn't understanding. Look at it, she said, pointing to the box. It's a fake pregnancy belly, the kind actors use. Mom bought this. I picked up the box with numb fingers. I turned it over. There was a product description on the back, partially ripped but still legible. Realistic silicone pregnancy belly for costume, roleplay, or theatrical use. Straps for secure fitting. Natural look and feel. The price sticker was still on it. $89.99. No, I said. This has to be... This isn't what you think. Dad. Qley's eyes were filled with tears. I know this is hard, but you need to listen to me. I've been watching Mom for months now. I had suspicions, but I didn't want to believe it. I thought I was being a bad daughter for even thinking it. But Dad, I don't think she was ever pregnant. The room felt like it was tilting. That's impossible. I saw her belly. It grew. She had ultrasound pictures. The ultrasound pictures, Qley interrupted. Did you ever go with her to an appointment? I opened my mouth to say yes, but stopped. No, there was always something. Work, meetings, I couldn't. Because she didn't want you there, Qley said. Dad, I don't think she ever went to a doctor. I think she's been lying this whole time. But why? I asked, and my voice cracked. Why would she do that? Qley sat down in the chair across from me. I've been thinking about it a lot. I think she wanted to trap you, or control you. After she got pregnant, you started doing everything for her. She stopped working. You paid for everything. You waited on her hand and foot. Every word Qley said felt like a knife between my ribs, because I knew on some level that she was right, but I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't believe it. The miscarriage, I said. She was devastated. Qley shook her head. Was she, though? She cried for like 2 days, then she was fine. You're still torn up about it. I can see it in your face. But Mom, she's acting like nothing happened. I thought about the last few weeks. How Amanda had bounced back so quickly. How she'd refused to go to the hospital. How she didn't want to talk about it. Didn't want to see a therapist, just wanted to move on. We need proof, I said. If what you're saying is true, we need actual proof. Qley nodded. I know. I've been trying to figure out how to get it. That's why I came to you. For the next 3 days, Qley and I became secret investigators in our own home. It felt surreal, like I was living in a bad thriller movie. But I had to know the truth. First, I looked for medical bills. Amanda had always handled the medical stuff, saying she'd file the insurance claims. I went through our banking statements looking for charges to her OBGYN or any medical facility. There were none. Not a single one for the entire 9 months of her pregnancy. Maybe she paid cash, Qley suggested when I told her. For 9 months of prenatal care? That would be thousands of dollars. Where would she get that money? We checked her credit cards. Nothing. Next, I went through Amanda's email while she was out shopping. I felt disgusting doing it, violating her privacy like that. But if she'd lied about something this massive, I needed to know. I searched for doctor, appointment, OBGYN, ultrasound. Nothing came up. No appointment confirmations, no reminders, no medical portal messages. Nothing. I looked at her search history. In late September, right before she announced the pregnancy, there were searches for how to fake pregnancy, silicone pregnancy belly reviews, convincing fake pregnancy, and pregnancy symptoms to claim. My hands were shaking as I showed Qley the screen. Oh my God, she whispered. She really did plan this. The ultrasound photos. I took them off the fridge and really looked at them for the first time. I did a reverse image search on Google. 3 of the 5 photos appeared in results from various medical websites and forums. She'd just downloaded random ultrasound pictures from the internet. I felt sick. Physically, violently sick. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Everything was a lie. Every single moment of joy I'd felt, every hope I'd had, every dream I'd built, all of it was based on a lie so cruel I could barely comprehend it, but I still needed more proof. Something undeniable. We need to get her medical records, I told Qley, from her actual doctor. That's the only way to know for sure. How do we do that? Qley asked. She won't just give them to us. I'll hire a lawyer, I said. If we're heading toward divorce anyway, a lawyer can subpoena her medical records. The word divorce hung in the air between us. Are you going to leave her? Qley asked quietly. If this is true? I looked at this brave, honest 15-year-old girl who had more integrity than her own mother. Yeah, I am. I can't be with someone who would do this. Good, Qley said, because I don't want to live with her either. That hit me hard. Qley, I'm serious, Dad. If you leave, I want to come with you. Can I do that? Legally. You're 15. The court would consider your preference, and if your mom did what we think she did... I took a deep breath. Yeah, I think you could choose to live with me. I hired a lawyer the next day. His name was David Chen, a family law attorney in downtown Portland. I told him everything, the pregnancy announcement, the 9 months, the miscarriage, and what Qley and I had found. He listened without interrupting, taking notes. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair and let out a long breath. Mr. Morrison, he said, if what you're telling me is true, this is one of the most disturbing cases of marital fraud I've encountered in 20 years of practice. Can you get her medical records? I asked. I can request them from her gynecologist, yes. We'll need to file for separation first, but once we do, we can subpoena those records as part of discovery. If she was never pregnant, those records will prove it. How long will it take? A few weeks, maybe a month. These things take time. I didn't want to wait. I wanted the truth now, but I had no choice. I went home that evening and looked at Amanda, really looked at her, for the first time in months. She was making dinner, humming to herself, acting like everything was normal. Like she hadn't destroyed me. Like she hadn't made me grieve for a child that never existed. How could I have been so blind? The waiting was torture. David filed for separation, citing irreconcilable differences. Amanda was shocked when she was served the papers. "Rob, what the hell?" she demanded, waving the documents in my face. "You're leaving me, now, after everything we've been through?" "I need some space," I said, keeping my voice even. "After the miscarriage, I just need to figure things out." "So you're abandoning me?" Her eyes were wild. "Is that what this is?" "I'm not abandoning anyone. I just need time." She tried crying. She tried anger. She tried seduction. None of it worked. I'd already seen behind the mask. I couldn't unsee it. 3 weeks later, David called me. I have the medical records. I drove to his office, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Qley wanted to come, but she was at school. "I'll tell you everything tonight," I promised her. David's office was on the 10th floor of a building downtown. The receptionist led me to a conference room where David was waiting with a manila folder. "Sit down, Rob," he said. I sat. He opened the folder and pulled out several pages of medical records. I spoke with Dr. Patricia Henderson, Amanda's gynecologist. According to these records, Amanda's last visit to this practice was 3 years ago for a routine annual exam. There are no records of any pregnancy-related visits in the past year. No prenatal appointments, no ultrasounds, no blood work. Nothing. He slid the papers across the table to me. I looked at them, but the words were blurry. I realized I was crying. Dr. Henderson confirmed, David continued gently, that Amanda Morrison was never pregnant. There is absolutely no medical record of a pregnancy. I put my head in my hands. Even though I'd known for weeks, hearing it confirmed was like being hit by a truck. "What kind of person does this?" I asked, not really expecting an answer. David was quiet for a moment. "Someone with a serious psychological issue. This level of deception, sustained over 9 months, is not normal behavior." "What do I do now?" "Now?" David leaned forward. "Now we confront her. You show her these records and the evidence you and your stepdaughter collected. We make it clear that we have undeniable proof. And then we proceed with the divorce." I picked up Qley from school that afternoon. When she got in the car, she took one look at my face and knew. "She was never pregnant," I said. Qley's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry my mom did this to you." I reached over and hugged her. This kid, she'd saved me. If she hadn't found that box, if she hadn't been brave enough to come to me, I might never have known the truth. "You have nothing to apologize for," I told her. "Nothing. You did the right thing. The brave thing." "What happens now?" she asked. "Now we go home," I said. "And I confront your mother. Amanda was home when we got there. She was in the living room watching some reality TV show, completely at ease. "Hey," she said when we walked in. "How was school, Qley?" Qley didn't answer. She just looked at her mother with this expression of profound disappointment and went upstairs. "What's her problem?" Amanda asked me. I set my bag down. I pulled out the manila folder, and I walked over to the coffee table and laid out everything. The silicone belly packaging, the printouts of her internet search history, the downloaded ultrasound images with their original sources, and finally, the medical records. Amanda's face went pale. "What is this?" "The truth," I said. My voice was calm, eerily calm. "You were never pregnant, Amanda." "That's ridiculous. Rob, you're having some kind of breakdown. After the miscarriage, you've been—" "There was no miscarriage," I interrupted, "because there was no baby. You faked the entire thing." She stood up, her face flushed. "How dare you accuse me of—" "I have your medical records," I said, pointing to the papers on the table. "From Dr. Henderson. You haven't been to see her in 3 years. There are no pregnancy-related visits. No ultrasounds, no prenatal care, nothing." She stared at the papers, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. "The ultrasound pictures," I continued, "downloaded from the internet. I found the original sources. The pregnancy belly. Qley found the box in the trash. $89.99 from Amazon. Your search history shows you researching how to fake a pregnancy. Do you want to keep denying it, or are you ready to tell me the truth?" For a long moment, Amanda said nothing. Then her face crumpled, and she started crying. Real tears this time, I think. "I was scared," she said. "I was scared of losing you." "So you lied to me for 9 months." My voice was rising now. I couldn't keep the anger out anymore. "You made me believe we were having a child. You made me prepare a nursery, buy furniture, tell my family, grieve for a baby that never existed." I know, I'm sorry." "You're sorry?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You put me through hell. You made me cry over a child that was never real. You made me mourn. Do you understand how fucked up that is? I didn't know how to stop," she sobbed. "Once I started, I didn't know how to tell you the truth. So I faked the miscarriage. I thought we could move on." "Move on?" I was shouting now. "I'm still grieving. I've been in therapy. I can't sleep. And you were never even pregnant. I wanted to make you happy," she said desperately. "You wanted a baby so badly. I thought if you believed we were having one, I'd what? Stay with you. Is that what this was about? Trapping me?" She didn't answer. She just kept crying. Qley appeared at the top of the stairs. "You're sick," she said to her mother. "You need serious help. I can't believe I shared DNA with you." Amanda looked up at her daughter. "Qley, please." "No," Qley said. I'm done. I'm done defending you. I'm done making excuses. What you did to Rob is unforgivable. You're a liar and a manipulator, and I don't want anything to do with you." "You're my daughter," Amanda said desperately. "Not anymore," Qley said. "I'm going to live with Rob." "You can't do that. I'm your mother." "Watch me," Qley said, and went back to her room. I looked at Amanda. This woman I'd married. This person I'd trusted, and I felt nothing but disgust. "I want a divorce," I said. "David already filed the papers. You'll be served officially in a few days. I'm keeping the house. You need to leave. Rob, please, we can work through this." "No," I said firmly. "We can't. What you did, it's beyond forgiveness. It's 2139's beyond redemption. You made me love a child that didn't exist, and then you made me grieve that child. That's unforgivable. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Go to your parents, go to a friend, go anywhere. But you need to be out of this house by the end of the week." She stared at me, and I think she finally realized I was serious, that there was no talking her way out of this, no manipulating me into staying. "I loved you," she said quietly. "No," I said. "You didn't. Because if you loved me, you never would have done this. The divorce took 2 months. Amanda didn't fight it. She couldn't. Not with all the evidence we had. She moved back in with her parents in Eugene. She tried to get custody of Qley, but Qley was firm in her decision to stay with me. At 15, the court took her preference seriously, especially given Amanda's documented pattern of deception. I kept the house. I kept everything, really. Amanda didn't have grounds to ask for much, considering what she'd done. Qley and I are doing okay now. It's been 6 months since everything came out. We're in therapy, both individual and family counseling. We're healing. I dismantled the nursery, painted over the yellow walls with a neutral gray, donated all the baby stuff to a local women's shelter. It hurt to do it, but I needed to let go of that false dream. My parents were shocked when I told them the truth. My mom couldn't stop apologizing, like it was somehow her fault for being excited about a grandchild. My dad just got quiet, then said, "I'm proud of you for leaving her." That took strength. At work, I eventually told Chen what happened. He was horrified. "Take whatever time you need," he said, "and if there's anything I can do, anything at all, just let me know." I learned a lot from this experience. About trust, about manipulation, about how someone can lie to your face every single day and make you believe it. I learned that even the people closest to you can be capable of unthinkable cruelty. But I also learned about resilience, about how a 15-year-old girl can have more courage and integrity than some adults, about how you can survive something that feels like it should destroy you. Qley is thriving now. She's doing well in school, has good friends, and is seeing a therapist who's helping her process everything. She still calls me Dad. That means more to me than she probably realizes. As for me, I'm learning to trust again. Slowly. It's hard. When someone betrays you that completely, it leaves scars. I find myself questioning everything, looking for signs of deception in normal conversations. My therapist says that's normal, that it will get better with time. I don't know if I'll ever be able to have a child now. The whole experience has left me traumatized around the idea of pregnancy and parenthood. Maybe someday I'll heal enough to try again with someone new, someone trustworthy. Or maybe I won't. Right now I'm focusing on being the best father figure I can be to Qley. She's the real hero of this story. She exposed the truth when it would have been easier to stay silent. She chose me over her biological mother. That's a gift I'll never take for granted. If you're reading this and something feels off in your relationship, trust that instinct. Look for the evidence. Ask the hard questions. Don't let someone manipulate you with lies, no matter how much you love them. And if you're going through something similar, know that you can survive this. It feels impossible in the moment, but you're stronger than you think. To Amanda, if you're somehow reading this, I hope you get the psychological help you need. I hope you can understand someday why what you did was so wrong. And I hope you never do this to anyone else. As for Qley and me, we're going to be okay. We're already okay. We have each other, we have the truth, and we have a future that's built on honesty instead of lies. And that's worth more than any false dream could ever be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.